Welcome back to the channel. Today is part 2 of the Redarc Rogue install 12 volt system into Brando's chute. We will get it finished today, we are assured. Since the last episode, Brando's had the car lifted, he's finished all the little niggly bits inside that he wanted to fix. So today's all about hooking the Rogue up and programming it and making sure everything works and getting it done. So without further ado, let's hand it over to Baz, who will talk us through the plans for today.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. Day number 4. Today's an exciting day. We've got a couple more things to fit off, the fuse block, a couple of the isolators, and then we're going to rip into programming it, testing it, and seeing how we go from there.
So what do we have left to do today?
Fuse block, so the USBs and cigarette sockets for the gull wings need to be fit off in the fuse block, and our isolators here, so basically connecting the board to the car. We've done a lot of the circuitry. We're going to have to do a little bit of cable management as well. Yeah, basically just connecting it to the car and then to the battery. So,
Andy, the next time you want the knife, it's right here. Just so you know.
Thank you.
What are you doing?
Opening up the fridge.
Right.
Riveting stuff. I don't need the fridge, I just wanted the box and some rubbish. Rubbish!
What are you up to, Brando?
Fuse box. Our fuse block is wired in a second.
What are you doing, Baz? Are you doing anything useful?
I'm building the links that are going to go from the third battery positive terminal to the isolators / circuit breakers. So just lugging them and make them for Brando so he can chuck them in.
So we're up to the last few connections. All of the isolators have been connected now, I think. And there's one more connection here and one more in here, a couple more in here. Then we connect the battery up, eh?
Yeah.
Unreal.
Then we just get to check if everything's working.
Yeah, which I hope, really.
Peanut gallery side back here.
Fantastic piece of work. I could have done better myself, really. Nailed it.
It doesn't look that awkward, Baz. Really.
Bit further down if you can.
Is that easier to hold it like that?
Way easier.
Yeah, that's way easier.
Put it in.
Yep.
Just give a bit of force pushing down on that, yeah.
Yep.
Good?
Yep.
You.
Nice. So that's the last crimped.
Just connecting the third battery up.
So this is when everything should light up?
No, not yet.
Oh.
We've got everything isolated still so that we don't blow any fuses.
So we're just at the stage now where all the connections are done and Brando's just screwing those boxes back in for the last time.
Hopefully. Don't jinx it.
No.
Alright, she's plugged.
She's plugged.
Yep.
Rightio. Now we can do some engine-based stuff.
Dude!
Oh, what you can also do while you're there is put the fuses in the fuse block.
That's a good idea.
Yeah, 10s and then put...
And then the 30.
Oh no! How's the camera moving? The microphone.
You alright, Richard?
Yeah, I'm good. Just having a moment.
So one of those cables will be thicker? Or do we run it in the same size? No, we run it in the same size.
One of these. Wait.
Hang on a second.
Okay, so what? Back in and put the top on. That's... Wait, what? No. Yeah, you're not going to stitch me up, is there? There's no way to put these in, is there? It's just go straight in.
Straight in, boy.
I'm just not like an upside down thing, because the camera's on me, I'm scared I'm going to get... Oh, is there?
No, yeah, there is.
No, what?
There's a line and load side to the fuse.
Oh, dude, I'm serious.
Otherwise it won't work.
Nah, you know what? I'm just going to... I'm not going to stitch up.
Man, you opened the door. No one's even thinking about that.
I'm just pushing on the outside. No, it's good. Wait.
Rightio.
So we're on at the engine bay, and it's MIDI fuse time. So obviously,
MIDI.
The peanut gallery's back.
Peanut Ballot Gallery's here watching.
Any confusion, MIDI, M-I-D-I.
MIDI? Is that the MIDI?
MIDI.
What did I say?
MIDI fuse.
MIDI.
What did I say?
Mini
fuse?
No,
MIDI fuse?
MIDI.
Yeah, I can't hold my breath when I'm filming because I sound like Darth Vader in the background. You want that, Darth? It's not again for sure.
So we're ready for the switch on. Right. What are we going to do?
I don't know. I think I want to switch it on. Did something else do it?
You want the satisfaction, mate?
Yes, he does.
Oh, mate.
We'll put it into neutral so I don't embarrass myself on camera.
Well, the battery should have enough charge in it. You don't need to start the car yet. Turn the kill switch on.
Kill switch is on.
Yeah, now go and set all of those breakers.
That's satisfying. That's like a plane thing, like ready for takeoff.
Yeah. We have a light.
So they're all set. That's on.
Oh, Redarc's on, baby.
Confirm battery settings.
Did you turn the isolator on the battery from the engine side?
You know what's good? We can peel the plastic off on that.
Good. Oh.
To see out.
Yeah.
Should we read the handbook?
We're millennials. We don't need a handbook.
Yeah, true. This is cool.
Yeah, LiFePo.
That's the one.
Is it lithium phosphate or what kind of lithium battery is it? It is LiFePo.
I'm
Yeah.
pretty shot.
Just double check.
That's your power.
Yeah, sure about.
Surely is.
Hell yeah.
Hell yeah, brother. Right, we're on. So this is the configuration part.
Which I will do now.
So what we've done is connected everything up, checked all the outlets, so these are all working. The air compressor was working, we've tested it. But on the face of it, everything so far is working. This panel is still calibrating the battery level. The fridge seems to be on, but there's no light on. And the Manager 30 is getting really warm. Drop a comment below if you think that's normal. We're not sure. It is getting. We've got 240 pumping into it at the minute to charge the battery up, shore power, and it's getting really, really warm, and we're not sure how normal that is. The second fridge is popped in right here, so that's going to be tied down and put there. What do you reckon, Jetta?
It's warm, isn't it? It is pretty hot.
Yeah, you can't leave it too long.
So we've had a bit of an honour of being the second people ever to use Brando's brand new buffet serving table on the side of his car, which is only to be used as a smorgasbord to load food up with from hence on forward. And we've had food in the back of the car. Look at this. So we're just tools down at the minute. We're waiting for the battery to charge so we can get that screen going and hopefully get everything working. Because at the minute we can't test it. But we do know the fridge works. Yeah. So we can have a cold beer. The light's on, look at that. Perfect.
I can't see still. On the floor. Yeah, buddy. Yeah.
That was so dope.
Dude, that is sick. I'm sleeping in it. Not join you.
Very, very cool.
This is so sick.
I am stoked that we nailed the switching.
Yeah. I know you're happy at it.
So we are finally done. Look at that. So we're going to give you a quick rundown of how this beast of a system has been put together and what is involved in running it.
Alright guys, now that it's all wired in, I'll give you a bit of a rundown. So down at the battery manager here, we've got our green plug here. Working your way down, you've got the positive here. So that positive...
Hang on, you're on the CAN bus.
Oh, sorry. That positive, I can't see it because I'm around the corner. So the first one here, the positive, that goes from here to our third battery through this sub-main switch here. So we can isolate that if we ever want to do any work on that. Next port down, you'll notice we haven't used that. That is the load disconnect function. You can use the load disconnect function through the Red Vision screen. It's much more programmable. So rather than using this sort of more analog style function, we've opted for the digital function. So we haven't needed to use that function here. Next down is your earth or your negative. Next one down is the ignition source. This is a 2023 built, 24 complied Troopy. So it's got a smart alternator. So we've got the ignition source there for that. Next one down is the solar, and then finally the input from the first battery, or basically the alternator. So coming around here, we've got some more here. That one there runs the fuse block, so we can isolate that. The fuse block is running all of our cigarette sockets and USB sockets in the gull wings, and the output Anderson in the back corner. Next we've got the Rogue, so we can isolate the Rogue. So again, that's coming from the third battery into the isolator, and then from the isolator round to the Rogue there. The inverter here, which is behind the passenger seat, and solar, so the solar isolator, as we spoke about in the previous video, obviously to isolate it if we ever need to do work or anything like that, but also to, in a roundabout way, bypass that green energy function, green energy prioritization function that the BMS has. Lastly, a kill switch. As I said, this is going to get closed in with the top on it, so the terminals on the battery aren't going to be readily accessible. So I think that's a very important function should Brandon ever need it. Okay, guys. First off the bat here, you'll find the shunt. Okay, so the shunt, you've got the ground and battery negative side. The battery negative side runs through our kill switch and then to the negative of the battery. On this side here, we've got the ground that feeds our bus bar, and just for a lack of space on the bus bar, we've also run another one of the larger negatives to the ground here as well. So coming further down the board, we've got our terminal block here that runs all of the analog switching. So the first cable here, that's our ignition input from the car. So that'll run all the lock features, which we'll get to a little bit later on. The next set here run the Rock 9s, and this set here run the water pump. The next block over is our positives for all of the 10 output channels on the Rogue, and then here are all of the negatives of the Rogue. So our bus bar here is only running all of the negatives that are not being operated or controlled by the Rogue. So that's a lot of these black cables down here are the negatives for the cigarette sockets, the inverter. The Rogue itself gets a negative from the bus bar as well. So that's why that's a necessity there. Obviously we've got CAN bus on one side, and then your positive reference here, which does your temperature as well for the positive terminal. All of these other positives here are the feeds for the breakers on the other side, which you saw earlier. That pretty much concludes behind the board. So unfortunately, we've done our best for cable management, but just purely we had so much stuff in here. Eventually it got too much. Brando's happy with it nonetheless. Once we put the board on top, it'll be not visible. So when you first fire it up, guys, you'll get this calibrating symbol. It'll say that until it's been charged fully for the first time. So plug it into short power is probably the quickest way, and leave that going, and it'll eventually change to 100%. Basically, it's a loaning function. It's loaning the different percentages of the battery, basically. So it'll go from a boost charge into a float charge when it thinks it's getting close to finding 100%, and then when it does, then obviously it's calibrated essentially then. When you first turn it on, none of the lighting features or anything are on the screen. You basically get the calibrating sign and your current discharge and charge status. So what you have to do is go into the configurator app. Alright, so once you get on the configurator app, you have to basically pair the device first. So up on the main screen here, you just press across and you select Bluetooth. Right, once that's done, it's essentially in pairing mode and you're looking for your serial number here. So when you come down, you'll see that we've linked already with the 0001 matching the screen there. So once you click on your device, then you can go through and start setting everything up. So unit preferences, being in Australia, we use Fahrenheit, and basically you can come down and set all of your settings. So DC input trigger, obviously being a smart alternator, and we've got the ignition wide in, we're going to select ignition. Further down, battery sensors, so we've got a lithium 200 amp battery. It's a battery manager 30, so it's a 30 amp max current charge. SOC stands for state of charge, so low state of charge alarm. We've decided to make 25%. That should give Brando ample time to rectify any faults or issues should they arise. Same with the low voltage alarm. We've decided to put it at 10.8 volts. Wiring configuration into the Rogue here. So we've got our outputs, sensor inputs and switch inputs. So the outputs, we've labelled each channel. We've got left-hand side LED, right-hand side LED, rear LEDs and so on. We've got different styles, so the water pump is a toggle switch. However, the in-cab Rock 9s is actually a push button. So we've got here normally open push button style. Should you have other input triggers like the ignition isn't running through a switch, that's a 12 volt signal from the engine. So it's important to configure those correctly, but this is honestly one of the best features of the Rogue 9 is the ability to be compatible with analog switches. Now, one issue we did have is once we went through, we didn't have any of the options on the screen on the side. So don't forget this step. This caught us out. Lighting control configuration. TVMS display. Soft keys. You actually have to drag in and put where you want them on the screen. We missed that step and it had us gone for hours. So don't make the same mistake we did there. Home screen, you got a couple of different options. Status screen as well. So we haven't opted for a status screen because we don't have water tanks. So control configuration, once you've selected the outputs, you can choose what it's controlled. So this one is basically just trigger for the Rogue itself. The Rock 9s control the Rock 9s. Alright, it's a bell press style switch, so turn on while pressed, whereby the water pump is a toggle, so it's an on off. And you obviously see there, toggle switch normally open. So now that we've gone through the configuring app, this is what you look with. So we've got our left hand lights, the right hand lights in the gull wing, the rear lights, the Rock 9s, our water pump. This one here's the oven. Page down, we've got the inverter and the two fridges which we've got running. Now, one of the awesome functions we mentioned before is the compatibility with our analog switching. So you'll notice here the water pump is off. I can trigger that from here. I don't know if you can hear that. Turn that off, but if you come around, we can also run it from an analog switch there. Same thing, we've got our Rock 9 lights up on the roof, controlling digitally through the Rogue and the screen. Obviously same on the app as well. And then in the card, with a different style switch, being a push button, that also controls the lights on the roof. I think this is an absolute awesome function. Alright guys, end of day 4. It's been a long day. It's about 7:15 at night. We finally got all of our issues ironed out. Sort of final thoughts. The inverter switching and the analog switching were some of the things that may trip a couple of people up. However, I think it is one of the best features of the Rogue. Obviously coupled with its size and weight, it is light as. I was originally thinking maybe the 40 amp wouldn't be enough, but it is handling the load of the system, which is fantastic to see. So again, you've got 10 output channels. Each channel has 10 amps, however, it's a combined 40 amp load on the Rogue. So we're actually using the car to cool both fridges down, and they're pulling a combined amperage of about 9 amps. 65 litre and a 40 litre. Yeah, in terms of the rest of the install, pretty straightforward, hey, like, it was a little bit more difficult because we couldn't find any other how-to videos on YouTube. Obviously the Rogue's still very new to the market, I suppose, so we couldn't find any how-to videos, so I had to do my research the old-fashioned way and opened up the manual. This particular system is quite intricate, but I feel that most people would be able to install a Rogue into their system as a DIY.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, I've no complaints at the moment and exceeded my sort of expectations as well. It's really good.
The biggest thing is at 12 volts, like when people's cars burn down, is they've used the wrong size cabling. So they haven't run a big enough cable, the load's pulling too much, the cable gets hot, starts to melt. In extreme cases, may cause fire.
Yeah.
So if you're going to do DIY and you don't have a friend or someone in the industry with a little bit of knowledge you could lean on, at least reach out to someone to try and do some calculations on what size cable you want to use. So we did the figures for this car, and I've worked out what cable they need, and then I've gone up the next cable. I've done that to future-proof the install. So we've got a 350 watt inverter here, but Brando has a 3000 watt as well. So I've run the cables to the inverter big enough to power the 3000 watt so that he can switch to induction down the track. So for those that do have an idea and they're watching this install, they'll notice that the cables are quite large. So we've future-proofed it at every turn. So you'll never run out of power.
Yeah. Do
it right, do it once. Hey.
Yep, 100%. I can't even remember what the system cost. It was like $2,500. Is that about right?
And what that included, the BMS, so the Manager 30, the Rogue. Yep. So that's just the two Redarc components.
Yep.
Right. And the Red Vision screen comes with the Manager 30.
Yep, that was in the pack. So I think it was $2,500 around about for all of that for Redarc.
Then, for just the Redarc. It adds up once you start buying the pieces. Like, you buy the system and you're like, sweet. And then you spend probably another few $100 easy on lugs.
Consumables,
Yeah, definitely.
So would you say, obviously you haven't crunched the numbers yet, but would you say the system's probably around 2.5 plus 1,500 plus 500 for consumables? So you're looking at around the $5,000 mark.
Yeah. Plus battery.
Yeah.
Plus battery.
Yeah. So probably the $5,000 mark.
Around the $5,000 mark. I couldn't tell you what you would pay if you took it to a shop to get this done.
It's up there.
Yeah,
because I think I got it quoted.
$10,000.
Yeah, I got it quoted before I even bought the stuff, and I think it was like upwards of 10.
So that's the end of Brando's 12 volt setup. We've got the Rogue in, everything's working. Tell you what, it looks like a sensational system. I'd love one of those in my car one day. Anyway, thanks for watching. Please do remember to subscribe. We'll see you in the next one.